Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. My name is Patricia. Now, we're going to continue this series that I've been doing on those hidden gospels. Well, they're not hidden anymore, but when they found these gospels, they were rejected by the church because it didn't align with what the gospels they had lied and put up. So these gospels, it was a lot of them found, like I said before, in Upper Egypt in 1945. They took them a while to translate them. I think they didn't get translated till 2005. So last week I taught something out of the Gospel of Truth. This gospel they found, because at that particular finding, there were several gospels. Now, these gospels are either direct teaching of Jesus that he taught the public, or it's direct teaching that he taught the disciples. And some of the disciples, he did teach them privately. But this is direct. Your traditional Bible, the book of Matthew, and, this in the traditional Bible, and John, those are not the direct teaching. Those are hearsay teaching passed down from person to person to person. These gospels are direct from Jesus' mouth to the disciples, or from Jesus' mouth directly written down from the gospels. So this particular one is called The Secret Book of John. And this book, they say was one of the most, I guess, important books out of all of the books, because they're saying that after Jesus reappeared, after he had resurrected, in the secret book of John is the teachings that he came back and taught John. So what were those teachings in our simple terms? He taught John that God is within you, not outside of you. The true God, the invisible spirit, because that's what Jesus was calling it back then. The infinite light as well is pure consciousness. It is not a man sitting on the throne. It is not you, but it's in you. It is pure consciousness. It is pure light. The teachings is also, he says, the material world were created by lesser beings, which I already told you this. I think it was in the Gospel of Judah, I think. I taught that a couple of weeks ago, based upon exactly how Jesus said that the earth was created. That humanity contains in your body, there's a divine spark that is trapped within the physical body. And it's up to you to bring that forth. Salvation comes through inner knowledge. And the awakening to who you truly are comes from inner knowledge. Okay? So that is what Jesus taught in the secret book of John. Now, why wasn't this accepted and put in the traditional Bible? Because it challenged the church authority. It taught direct inner access to God. And that's not what the church was teaching. They were teaching that you had to go through the priest or the pope or, that type of authority in order to reach God. It didn't tell you to turn within and there God was. It rejected the idea that salvation requires priests, rituals, or church. Okay, so then the bishops back during that time, after they had found these teaching and they took it to the bishops or the head of the church or whoever approved this, they wouldn't accept it because they said it did not align with the teaching that they had already put forth. Now, they didn't even say like, hey, since this is directly from Jesus and we know that, let's tell the people we made a mistake and give the people the true things. No, they weren't going to do that because it would have interfered with their finances. One time, a long time ago, I remember the Catholic Church saying that they were a business. So if a church is saying they're a business, that means they're in this to make money. That's what that means. What other reasons you go into a business? They didn't say it was a religious. They said the Catholic Church is a business. So to tell you the truth of what Jesus really taught interferes with their business. So they weren't going to put it out or tell people that this even existed. You had to search to seek out the truth for yourself. Now let's go back a little bit because Jesus also taught in his teachings, and some of the other books, we'll get to, that Jesus taught in the teaching, and I think it may be it is also it's in there once or twice where he says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. That is in the traditional Bible, but that's the only verse they put in there what Jesus said. But based upon that little verse, the kingdom of heaven is within you, what is that telling you? That's telling you that God is within you, not outside of you. In the traditional Bible, it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. So even in the traditional Bible, they did put that little bit in, that Jesus had said that, which he did say that, because in all of these writings, in every last book of these Gospels that they found, all of them, Jesus is saying that the kingdom of heaven is within and that God is within you. And seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all within you, and all things will be added to you. And all of these Gospels, he says that God is not in a wood. God is not in a building. So he's telling you right there, you don't seek God in a building. That's a church, isn't it? Don't seek God in wood, which is a building, right? He's telling you to seek God within you because the kingdom of heaven is within you. So I don't even know. To me, if you saw, I saw that like when I was a little girl and I read the Bible, that really, I remember reading that where it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all things will be added to you. That always stuck with me. Like, what did he mean by that? That's what when I was little, I used to say, no, he's telling you that God is inside of you. So why are people going to the church? Why are people praying outside of themselves? Why aren't people trying to find him within? I didn't understand it fully, but I knew that it meant we need to turn within. As I grew spiritually and God began to teach me more and more, I began to understand that even if you wanted wealth or fame or whatever, like that, you needed to go within yourself, because I would always say that Jesus said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you." That means everything you want. So I often, when I was younger, I could have got a contract singing. They had a recording. Went to a recording company. They wanted me to sing, but if I was 14 at the time, when my mother asked me, because I had to go weekly to rehearse and stuff. When my mother asked me did I want to go one day, we were getting ready to go for rehearsal. I told her no, I wanted to play with my friends. My mother was not a pushy stage mother, so she just asked me a couple of times, "Are you sure you don't want to do this?" And I said no, I didn't want to do it, and she didn't push me. She just called the record company and told them I didn't want to do it. I always was glad of that, because later you start hearing all this madness that's happening in the entertainment business and how people are selling their soul and different things like that. But I remember sitting and thinking one day, these people are seeking outside of themselves for fame, though. They're not seeking inside of themselves for fame. So if they really wanted fame, then they would have to follow what Jesus said. This is what I would say when I was a young teenager. I would say, like, hey, it must be something in you that's going to happen, because if he says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all within, and all things will be added, that means everything you want will be given to you. So you would have to seek it first, and then you would find, I didn't know how you would do it. As I grew, I realized, and God began to show me, that when you go within, all energy, everything is within you. The entire universe is within you. So I began to understand that once I went inside and stated what I wanted, then God would grant me what I wanted. So I knew, because I had did this many, many times, that he would lead and guide you to get whatever it is you're trying to get, or tell you step by step by step to get it. So I thought, well, if this is the case, because no matter what I would ask for, it would always lead and guide me. If I would say, lead and guide me to win the lottery, it would always lead and guide me to win. If I would say, lead and guide me to get a job, it would always do that. So it would lead me to the right people, the right places, the right timings, like that. So I always thought, wow, if people did that for their entertainment career, they would be able to get in. You know what I mean? It would be able to get the fame and everything they wanted without going the dark path. Without going the dark path. The reason they're going through the dark path is because that is what they're seeking it themselves. You know what I mean? They're trying to do it themselves. They haven't turned within for guidance. One time I was sitting on a couch and I said, I wish I could, be a millionaire in a short period of time. And then I heard this inner voice inside of me say, go into real estate. And I said, what? I don't want to do real estate. And I had just moved to California, and my mother's friend had just moved there too. So I had mentioned that to my mother. My mother said, real estate. She mentioned to her friend who had just moved to California. Her friend said, I'm going to take that advice and I'm going to go into real estate. I didn't even take the advice that I was given from within. In 1 year time, this lady became a millionaire from the message that I received. I didn't do it, and she did. And she became a millionaire in 1 year. So I'm a firm believer that and I know this to be a fact because I've did it on many occasions, when you turn within and seek that power within you and then ask it to lead and guide you, it's going to do just that. Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show.